Hello, I'm Todd Thorsen. I'm the CISO for CrashPlan, and I wanted to just talk through my top five IT and security trends as we looked at 2024. The first one is artificial intelligence. I'm sure that will not come as any great surprise, but it's really twofold. So the technology itself isn't new, but there's definitely a increase in demand for using it within organizations. And that poses a bit of a challenge for IT and security teams. And it's really important to engage with your business partners within your organization, understand their use cases, the business drivers, and then the data that's going to be going in. The second one I want to touch on is really just ransomware and data resilience posture for organizations. So ransomware attacks, as we all know, are ongoing and will continue and become over time more and more sophisticated and pervasive. Prevention and detection tools are really, really critical elements from an overarching protection standpoint. But guess what? We still have ransomware attacks. So it's really important for companies to really take a hard look at what their data resilience posture and recovery capabilities are. And security in depth is definitely a thing, but security tools fail. And so it's important to be prepared and have a strong data resiliency posture so you can resume operations quickly and get back to business. So the third one is really centered around like IT and security burnout. It's a real thing. I mean, we live in challenging times right now. Cybersecurity threats continue to grow. Hackers are pervasive, and there's continued pressure on security and IT teams to keep up with that. Further complicating matters is there are real skill gaps in certain aspects of IT and security. So employees in security and IT are really being overworked, and so we have to be thoughtful about work-life balance here, providing training opportunities to upskill employees and keep them engaged and effective and efficient as they're working through and protecting our organization. The next one I want to talk through a little bit here is closing the endpoint data protection gap. We recently collaborated on a survey of security practitioners and CISOs, and there were some interesting takeaways that came out of that. 71% of the respondents said that a data breach involving their endpoint would really not surprise them. This is despite feeling more confident in their ability to stop breaches. But we really have to understand what the holistic data footprint of an organization is, and that includes the endpoint. There's a lot of data accessed, processed, stored, modified on those end user devices. So I think that really recaps a perspective externally that there's a lot of data there, and the protection and detection tooling placed in and of itself isn't protecting an organization. So you've got to have plans for endpoint recovery, critical application recovery, and so on. So the last item that I want to talk about here a little bit is just taking a hard look across your organization and what tooling you've got in place. And really here it is, do you have the right fits for the right use cases? A good example of using the right tools for the right purposes are cloud collaboration platforms. So many times organizations will certainly use these for driving efficiencies into the organization, collaborating on documents remotely, sharing information, things of that nature. Many times organizations will also use them as backup and recovery as part of their business continuity data resiliency platforms. They're really not intended for that, and they're really not great at that. And so as you're looking at your data resiliency posture overall, these are the elements to sort of think through. What are you covered? How are you covered? Do you have the right tools? Can you recover at scale? As I mentioned, CCPs have some backup functionality and recovery functionality, but there's really limitations there from a data retention standpoint, version history. They're policy dependent, so they force users to sort of work in a certain way and make sure every document that they're touching is uploaded in those platforms. If they're not, you've got data gaps, and you're not going to be able to recover at scale when you need to if you're impacted by an event. And those are my top 5 information security IT management trends for 2024. I appreciate your time today. Thank you for watching.